I got a lot of questions all the time in the group of people saying like, anyone have any ads for this company or that? And it's like, dude, instead of just copying, like you can do that and see what works for other people. But I want to teach you guys the skills so you don't have to keep asking that question, and you can just know how to do it with any offer, any service business that comes through the door, right? What is the skill required and what's the framework to be able to script ads that are actually going to perform? Because 9 times out of 10, the performance of an ad is dictated by what?
The hook.
Nope.
The messaging.
Call to action.
Nope.
The pain point.
The offer. How good is the offer? Is the offer good? Because if it just sounds like anyone else, then like it's not gonna really matter. Now the hook matters too, right? But the overall performance of an ad is not based on the hook. The initial retention point is dependent on the hook, but the performance overall of an ad is dictated by how good the offer is. Okay. So your ad has about 3 seconds to stop a stranger from scrolling, and the words you use decide whether it does. 9 times out of 10, the performance of an ad comes down to the offer inside the creative and the words wrapped around it. Okay. You can have the nicest footage in the world, and if the copy is weak and your offer is soft, the ad prints nothing. This is the highest leverage skill you can build because it is the difference between an ad that burns money and ones that fill a calendar. I'd say it's right up there with sales in terms of skill sets of importance. So in this training, I'm going to blend 2 things, okay? I'm going to blend the direct response copywriting principles that actually move cold buyers, and I'm drawing a lot of principles that I've learned from Sabri Subi. Have you guys read his book yet? It's one of the core 4 too. It's super, super good. And like, blow your mind if it's one of the first marketing books that you read, okay? These are pretty much like 4 foundational principles, and it changed a lot of how I think about direct response marketing, copywriting, etc. When I first read it, like 7 years ago at this point. And the old school greats, it is built on, okay? So we're going to reference a few different people. Dan Kennedy, a few other guys as well, and your own offer framework and ad structure that we teach you guys for the offer that we're all selling, okay? You will apply all of it to one job, writing video ads and scripts for local high-ticket service businesses, and you're going to turn scrollers into booked calls. So one quick frame I want to set beforehand, copy and offer are they're not 2 separate things. Copy is how you communicate the offer, and the offer is what the copy is selling, okay? A world-class offer with average copy beats brilliant copy on a weak offer every time. I want to say that again, okay? A world-class offer with average subpar copy or words, descriptors to describe and communicate the offer beats brilliant copy on a weak offer every time, 100% of the time. So we start with the buyer and the offer, and then we write. Part of your guys' success with your clients needs to be helping them with their offer a little bit, right? Because now you're not just coming in and running ads for what they just tell you, right? Like, here's what we sell, this is how much we charge, and you go, cool, and then you run ads for it. Right? The guys in here that I see that crush, that are more of like that growth operator mindset, are helping their clients having and crafting a no-brainer offer. Another quote that I love from Alex Ramosi, I don't think I have it in here, but he said this before and it stuck with me. First time I heard it was years ago. And he said, if you want to figure out how to separate yourself from your competitors, just figure out what they're not willing to do for their clients and then do that thing. And when he said that, I was like, fuck, shit, that's fantastic. So I just started looking at my competitors. What are these guys like not willing to do? Cool. They're not willing to do this thing for them, and they hate it. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Anyone think of an example?
This is a random thought, but maybe like most video agencies aren't willing to give you the raw footage.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, that could be one thing. I always thought not giving raw footage was kind of a weird thing. Like, I'll be honest, like whenever I see guys in like different groups and they're like, client wants raw footage, how do I tell them they can't have it? I'm like, dude, just give it to them. Like, it doesn't really matter.
I hear you, bro. Yeah.
But yeah, sure. So that could be a small example, right? What's a big frustration that local businesses have with agencies?
Like speed to lead. One thing I've done is like implemented A2P, so that way they actually just get a call or a text as well as the Slack message, because a lot of them struggle with actually getting in Slack.
Yep. Okay, there you go. That's good. Another really big thing. So Phil, 100% communication. Good to see you, by the way, bro. I haven't seen you in a minute. Communication, right? But what exactly does that mean? Well, most fucking agencies that people hire will take their money and then pretty much ghost and do some generic baseline check-ins on maybe a weekly basis if they're good, right? So your ability to communicate, which by the way, does not mean responding at 10 p.m. if they shoot you a text, like still have boundaries. But next day, be able to hop on calls if necessary, if required, keyword, right? Not at every beck and call they have. and then transparent communication, and most importantly, coming to them with problems before they're able to. I just saw an ad that I shared the other day, a testimonial actually, that Wes in the program, he filmed one of his clients, and in the ad, or in the testimonial that he filmed, his client was like, what I love about Wes is he comes to me with problems before I'm able to even see them. He'll come to me and be like, hey dude, by the way, like here's how the ad's performing right now. I'm seeing like a little bit of a low, like the speed to lead's not that great. Our pickup rate's not that great, or our pickup rate is good. Our set rate just isn't that at target or what it should be. So I'm going to go ahead and whip up like a quick SOP for you. I'm going to send it over, and then I need you to make these adjustments, and that's going to help you out a ton. Right now, do you have to do that? Is that what they're paying you for? No, but your ability to be able to help them solve the problem in its entirety is going to make you an asset. And a client's never going to be able to be upset with you if you're the one coming to them with problems before they're able to. What are they going to do? If you come and say, hey, this isn't working super well, I'm going to make this adjustment on my end with the creatives. I'm going to test a few more, do some more hooks. I'd love for you to try this out, and that'll be able to help increase this number. Sound good? What are they going to do? They're not going to be like, yeah, I'm upset. I'm mad that like that's not working right now, and I'm not getting more. Dude, no, they're not going to do that. They're going to be like, thank you. Clients don't want somebody that's going to come in and have 100% success rate and crush it right out the gate 100% of the time. And if they do have that expectation, they're stupid. What they want is somebody that's going to be in the trenches with them and build alongside them, constantly solving problems, being proactive, right? So that's a good example going back to what are your competitors not willing to do and then do that thing? Well, most agencies aren't communicative at all. They're not proactive with problems. So, and that's a big frustration and pain point. These business owners talk about it all the time. They just don't communicate. So what do? We do the thing that they're not willing to do for their clients. That's how you separate yourself. And that's one example. Cool. Okay. Number one, any questions, by the way? If you guys have questions, drop them in the chat. I got the chat up on the left-hand side so I can see them. Tracking so far? Okay. Ruthless empathy. Know the buyer better than they know themselves. I've closed over $4 million at this point, I think, with all you guys with this offer. And then like got the agency on the side too, not actively doing a lot with that right now, kind of management, but closed a lot of deals. And I've taken thousands of sales calls. Why? And why do we have such a good close rate? Sitting around 40% pretty consistently. And our closer is actually beating me in close rate, which is pretty awesome. Because every call, I know you guys better than you know yourselves. It's a bold statement. Now, not personally, obviously, I'm not like some psychic mind reader. That's not the case. But the problems and frustrations you're experiencing in the business, I know them way too well. And I am aware of those pain points and frustrations more than you are. And that's what allows us to win every single time. Right? So your ability to be able to understand your clients' frustrations better than they do is what's going to allow you to win every single time. Okay. Enter the conversation already taking place in your prospect's mind. That line, Robert Collier, I don't know if you guys are aware of him, stud. That's the whole game. Okay. And then Sabri builds his entire method on it. Again, if you haven't read Sell Like Crazy, order it now. All the stuff's going to make sense a lot later too. It's like one of the core books. If you just read that one book, you guys will be excellent copywriters. Okay. You're not starting a new conversation with a cold stranger. There's already a conversation running in their head about their problem, their fears, and what they want. And your job is to slide into it so smoothly that they feel like you are reading their mind. Sabri calls the work behind this the ruthless empathy. You research your dream buyer until you understand the world better than they can articulate it themselves. Now, we're not niched down into one specific industry. Some of you guys are. As you scale, you'll probably niche down a little bit further. Most of us are going after service businesses. Okay, there is a pathway towards scaling. In the beginning, you're not just going to pick some random industry and be like, I guess I've never worked with med spas, but I'll have that be my niche. That's not how you select a niche. And I know, because I banged my head against the wall for the first 2 years of my agency, and I'm like, everyone tells me to pick a niche, but I don't know how to do it. I don't know which one to pick. It's because I wasn't in a position to pick. I didn't have the experience or the case studies or the real world data to be able to make a good educated decision on what niche I should pick. Okay. And then I ended up niching down a few years later into info products and scaling coaching with like different content funnels, VSLs, organic frameworks, ads, stuff like that. We kind of package that and sell to those people. Because I got a few clients in this space, crushed it for them, did really, really well. I loved the education, info product, consulting, coaching model. And I understood it like the back of my hand, and I knew how they were acquiring clients and how all the KPIs and like what funnels they needed to run. And because I understood it really well, I was then able to niche down into it. Also, another reason why I was able to pivot into it and build my own info product, because it made sense. I knew how to scale them, right? So there is a pathway. So don't be thinking right now, well, Rich, I don't have a niche. That's not the stage you're in. Okay, get to 50K a month first. Then we can look at your data and figure out, okay, are you in a position to be able to niche right now? However, we can still get in the minds of service businesses because pretty much anybody that runs a high ticket service locally has the same funnel. Direct response ad, lead form, triage, book in an in-person estimate, call, whatever, some kind of a conversation, consultation, whatever, and then sell on that consult. It's the same mechanical framework every single time. Hence why we're able to productize the offer around the avatar. Does that make sense? And that's why that's niche enough right now for what you guys are doing. That'll easily be able to get you to 50K a month. Get you to 100K. There's guys in here that are doing over 100K a month. They're still just working with service businesses, right? So just focus on that. But the principle still stands. And this is what you want to help your clients do, okay? Because you are running ads for your clients, which means you also need to understand your clients, right? It's like clientception. Okay. For your clients' ads, the buyer's a real human with real fears, not a homeowner demographic. The roofer's customer is a dad laying awake, worried that the next storm turns a small leak into a $30,000 repair and a ruined ceiling over his kid's bedroom. See how specific that was? Guess what? The dude that's actually thinking that way is gonna go like, holy shit, this person's talking to me 100%, right? The med spa's customer is someone who avoids photos and feels a flush of embarrassment every time they catch their reflection. And that's 100% on the money. It's exactly what they're going through, what they're experiencing, and they're feeling. Okay. You write to the person, not a category. You need to make sure when you guys are writing ads for yourself, for your clients, that you're speaking to an individual. You're talking to a person. You're not talking to some subgroup. Okay. Dan Kennedy's 10 smart market diagnostic questions. Here's a few of them. You probably have heard this in some of the trainings that I've walked through. I'm going to reiterate this again, because if you can just answer these questions, you'll be like 90% of the way there. Okay. What keeps them up at 3 a.m. staring at the ceiling? What are they afraid of? And what are they angry about? And who do they blame? What are their top 3 daily frustrations? What do they secretly, deeply want? The thing they would not say out loud. And then what have they already tried that failed them and why? I want somebody to think about a client they have right now. Tell me the client, the industry, their offer, what they're selling, and then answer one of these questions for me.
I guess I'll give one of my clients.
Okay.
Driveway, so it's a concrete guy. He installs driveways. So his offer, like the one that I made for him, or just like in general?
Real quick, is this dude primarily making most of his money from like working with GCs and like building custom homes and doing that? Or is it working with residential, that people that don't have a driveway that want a driveway built? Like where they make most of their money?
He's kind of all over the
B2B?
place. He wants to target residential with driveways.
Okay. Wants to target. So I don't want to get too off course here, but this is important to talk about. A lot of times people say they want to target a certain model, even though like 80% of the revenue is coming from one already. It's like, why do that instead of just like putting fuel in the fire and the thing that's already working? That's one question I usually would ask. Okay. If somebody's like, I want to start doing this, like, okay, well, we can test some stuff, but if this is already working and you have people buying out the ass in this kind of subgroup, why not just get more of those people? But for this example, let's go ahead and go with that. He wants to go after more residential. Okay. So let's say that. Let's answer one of these questions then for their avatar.
I would say, what do they see? This is where I need help. I need to work on this. I guess what do they secretly want is they want their house to look good, because if their driveway's cracked, then they don't want it to look bad compared to the rest of the house. Now, I feel like that's probably not digging deep enough.
So potentially, here's what I would say. Okay. What keeps them up? That's the question you're answering, right? What keeps them up?
No, the fourth one. What do they secretly, deeply want?
The fourth
Well,
one.
no,
Okay.
they would say that out loud, though.
Yeah, that they would not say out loud. These questions are difficult, but it's why, like, when you can answer these questions, dude, you'll be able to speak to these people on a different level. So
Right.
I'll give you an example real quick. Okay. And I don't know 100%. I haven't worked with driveway concrete like companies, But I can tell you right now from real world experience and like working with a couple agents in the past, etc. What keeps them up is probably a person that is looking to sell their home. However, their agent has told them that they're going to lose a good amount of money because they got cracks all up and down their driveway. My internet good now? What was the last thing you guys caught? What was the last thing you heard?
The real estate agent with cracks up their driveway.
Okay, real estate agent saying, hey man, we're gonna lose out on probably 20 grand because this is a repair that needs to happen and no people aren't gonna buy it. So if we repair it, put 10 grand into it. How much, what's their average order value?
10K.
10, oh, great, okay. Put 10K into it, we'll be able to sell this thing for about 20K more. So it keeps them up at night is, holy shit, I need to sell this house, so I gotta get out of here. But I need to get this done right now. As an example, I don't know if that's actually the case. So that's the thing we also need to verify. We can't just make assumptions and go, well, I think it's this. We need to verify. How do we verify? Literally just go to Grok is usually pretty good when it comes to research. I probably use Grok or Claude. I think they both work. You can just ask AI, okay? Upload the avatar form, answer these questions, or just ask your clients. Your clients know their customer better than you guys do, especially if they've been established and worked with a lot of people. Like, dude, what keeps your clients up? At the end of the day, why do they choose to work with you? And why do they pull the trigger now as opposed to later? They should know. These are also, I believe, part of the client avatar form that you guys send your clients anyway. They should be. We need another example. Anyone have confidence of, hey, I got a client and I know the answer to this question right off the top of my head?
I work with roofing, and this was another question I had too, because I'm trying to get in the mind of like the consumer for roofing, and there's a lot of insurance process stuff, but I wasn't
Yeah.
sure if you're allowed to talk about that in like advertising.
Good question. There's different like companies that have jurisdiction over certain industries. There's like the SEC you got to worry about. There's FINRA. There's what are the other ones? There's other like agencies and entities that you have to be fairly concerned about. However, we can probably find this out pretty quick. Let's see.
Yeah, because like when I was researching it too, it's like when you get an insurance check to do your roof, like there are like a lot of things that they think about. Like they do think like, should I be like spending all of this on the roof, or is the person I like bring on going to supplement and add additional charges that are going to come out of my pocket?
Yep. There you go. So these are the that's an example of pull it up.
I have something to add. So like I work for the roofing company, so I feel like as long as you don't have the roofer say anything that is illegal, then you're good. So like a roofer, for example, can't read somebody's policy. So like as long as you're not like saying certain things related to that, you should be good. But
You can also just take this whatever scripts you're writing and like put it in Claude and be like, are we following laws? Like literally it's really simple and it'll tell you. We had like I did an entire scan of our website and our ad copy and everything we pretty much put out into the public to do a scan for like SEC regulations to make sure we're not saying anything we shouldn't. We gave an entire analysis and it picked up on a few things that we said that we technically can't say, and then gave the revisions for it so that we are within line. It's a beautiful part about AI nowadays. So if you don't know, just ask Claude, right? So anyway, okay. Who was talking with Logan, right? You're the one that was talking before.
Oh, my bad. Yes.
Let's do this. I want somebody to answer this question
Okay.
in one sentence. Who can answer it with one of your clients?
so I'll keep it on roofing. So they got sent a non-renewal letter from their home insurance that said, hey, if you don't replace your roof, like we're not going to insure you. So they're like really frustrated, like they're scrambling, like, dang, I have to find a roofer to replace my roof or we're not going to have home insurance. I don't know if that's a great example of, that's what they're thinking at 3 a.m., but that's my guess.
No, it's a good example. And you're going to have multiple. You'll probably have like 3, 4, maybe 5. The idea is not to find the answer to the question that everybody has. It's to find what the majority. So if there's like 4 subgroups of buyers, like 20% this person, 15% this person, 10% this person, 15% this person, whatever, you find the biggest one and then we go talk to those people. Right? That's a very real thing. Also, at the same time, if you're doing 4 different ad angles with like different hook variations, each ad angle is speaking to a different avatar. People have multiple avatars usually. Usually I'll go after lowest hanging fruit. Which one pays the most? Which people do you make the most from? That's the first avatar. We launch ads there and then we'll do another one. There's a company we're running ads for right now. We have 7 different archetypes. It's quite a bit, but we also have a nationwide offer because it's not a high ticket service. It's actually a low ticket online info product. So it's a totally different thing, but we're still, these are timeless principles that apply across the board. And so we're targeting 7 archetypes. And what's happening right now is we're about $3,000 to spend in, maybe a little bit more. And we are noticing that 2 of the 7 archetypes are printing. The rest are okay. We're about break even on CAC, right? They have high LTV, so we can afford to spend up to the cost to acquire a client as what they would make month 1. But the rest are like half the other 2. So what do? We just shut them off. We keep the 2 running, force all spend towards those, and then we make more ads speaking to just those 2 archetypes. And then boom, those are the 2 people we talk to. Does that make sense? That's kind of how we do that. Okay. Any questions on this part right here? Okay. Underneath all of it, human desire comes back to a few core drivers: health, wealth, and relationships. Can you think of anything outside of health, wealth, or relationships in terms of outcomes that you're delivering for you or for your clients and their avatars? It's either solving a problem along wealth, making them more money, their health, or improving relationships with people. Ego would fall under relationships. Ego is perception of their relationships with other people. Security and safety in what sense? Security from safety from what? Protecting home or family, that's relationships. Or maybe it's making sure that they're investing into marketing so they can make more money to protect their family. That's wealth, right? Every outcome, long-term desire, and problem that people solve falls on one of those 3 categories, plus the status and security wrapped around them. So that calls that kind of what you were saying before, Tanner, right? Every service ad ladders up to one of these. A roofing ad is really about protecting the family and the biggest asset they own. A landscaping ad is about the pride and status on the street. Find the deep desire under the surface service and write to that. Okay. So again, kind of what I was saying before, we're writing to one person. Don't write to a crowd, write to one specific human as if you were texting a friend who has this exact problem. You is the most important word in an ad. Not you guys, you. The moment your copy sounds like it's addressing homeowners in the greater Austin area, you've lost. Talk to one person about their one problem. So you live in this suburb here within this city. As an example. This should be taken care of by your clients. Okay, the avatar form. For some of you guys, if you just for some reason can't get your client to fill it out, number 1, set better expectations, have them fill it out. They're going to know their avatar better than you will. But number 2, I'll show you down the line here at the bottom of the document how we can just fill it out for ourselves and at least get as close to possible as what we can. Well, so give me an example of someone that we're talking to. Kind of, but here's the thing. It depends on the offer, right? So if you're saying like, we'll use landscaping, right? So instead of saying, if you're a homeowner here in this area, what I would say is, the landscaping on your front lawn within Austin looks like shit. and you know it, you've tried to do this, this, and this, but it hasn't been fixed. That's not that good of an example, but hopefully get the idea, right? Speaking specifically, because if you just say homeowners, I mean, immediately, like you could be then talking about a billion different things. Okay. I got quite a few to get through. I got to speed it up. Sorry. Match the message to market awareness. Okay. I want to talk about this because this is really important. And this will help, I think, have things click a lot better for you guys as well. And by the way, remember all of these principles apply directly to your offer too, right? Like the offer that you're selling, the ads you run, also for your clients. Okay. So yeah, one of the most important concepts. Most people running local ads haven't even heard of it. And it comes from Eugene Schwartz. Okay. Prospects sit at different levels of awareness, and your message has to meet them where they are. Say the wrong thing to the wrong level, and you lose them. These are the different levels. Also notice this. Well, actually, I'll explain each level real quick, and then I'm going to give some examples of stuff. Unaware is at the very beginning of the buyer awareness journey. These people don't even know they have a problem. This is going to be rare for you, and it's expensive to educate people because now your ads have to educate people on why they have a problem in the first place. And then they have to go, oh, I guess that's true. I do have a problem. Much more difficult to sell to those people. Okay. Luckily, most of you aren't going to be dealing with people in that stage. Next is problem aware. They know they have a problem to solve, but they're not aware of any specific solutions. They feel the pain, don't know solutions exist. My roof looks rough and I'm kind of worried about it. And that's the end of it. Then we have solution aware. They know solutions exist, but not who does it best. I know I need a roofer. I just don't know who. I know I got a problem. I know I need to solve it, but I'm not sure who's going to be able to do it. They're solution aware. Then we have product aware. They know your product exists, but they're not completely aware of all that it does, or they're not convinced of how well it does it. They know your client, and they're comparing. I've seen this company. Are they any good? And then most aware. They're ready to buy. They just need the offer and a reason to act right now. Usually this is where Google ads come into play. And also a little bit of this. This is where you have much more complex funnels. Lots of top of funnel cold traffic ads, landing page, VSL, education, shit ton of retargeting, lead magnets. I got a hard job of doing a lot of this, right? You guys are more than likely, most of your service clients going to be within this range. For cold local service ads on Meta, your buyer is almost always problem aware or solution aware. It tells you exactly how to open. I would agree, Ben. You don't lead with we're family owned since 1999. That's product aware messaging to a problem aware a person and it falls flat. You lead by naming their problem and the outcome they want, then bridge to the solution and the offer. Meet them in the middle of their worry, not at your company's front door. To speak to the people based on what level of awareness that they are in. Okay. Now let's talk about the Godfather offer. Make them an offer so good they feel stupid saying no. You guys hear this a lot, right? Hermosi's $100 million offer books also hits on this really, really well. This is the foundation the copy is going to sit on, right? So we talked about before how the performance of an ad is dictated by how good the offer is for the most part. That's the highest leverage thing you can do is make sure the offer is actually good and it's a no-brainer and it's better than the competitors. The words only amplify the offer. If the offer is weak, no matter of clever writing is going to save it. Okay. That's why a lot of times when I talk to people in here and they're like, man, I just need to get better at copywriting. It's like, well, I do think we can always get better at copywriting, but let me look at the offer first. Like, what's the offer we're selling? If it just sounds like everybody else, then it's going to be kind of hard to really sell it. Your job is to build an offer for your client that's so compelling the right buyer would feel foolish walking away. You already know how to construct this from the value equation, right? Crank the dream outcome and the perceived likelihood of success up, and then drive time delay and effort and sacrifice down. A free roof inspection with a same week appointment, a clear report, and no obligation is a far stronger offer than call us for a quote. Stack real value, make the next step easy and low risk, and give them a reason the deal is this good right now. Okay. I put out A to Z of a world-class offer training up in school. You guys can go through that. It's a lot more in-depth going through the offer as well. Phrase the offer accordingly. The specific outcome, the easy first step, and the risk reversal. If it doesn't make the right buyer feel stupid saying no, it's not strong enough yet. Okay. Now let's get into the hook. The hook is very important. Does 80% of the work. On average, 5 times as many people read the headline as the body. Your hook is the ad. Okay, this is from David Ogilvy. It's even more brutal on video, where you have about 3 seconds before the thumb keeps moving. People have the attention span of a goldfish. The hook is not part of the ad. In terms of results, it basically is the ad. If the first line does not stop, then nothing else you wrote matters, because nobody reads it. And this is why we write 10 to 20 hooks for every ad and test the winners, and why the hook does the majority of the heavy lifting on performance. Okay, the 4 U's of a strong hook. Hit as many of these as possible on your hooks. 1, it needs to be useful. It promises something that the buyer wants. 2, it needs to be urgent. It gives them a reason to care right now. Then it needs to be unique. It says something that they have not heard from any other company in town. And it's ultra specific. Specific numbers and details beat vague claims. Book 12 new roofing jobs this month beats grow your business. Okay, some hook angles that work for local service ads. Audience call out, we know that one. The bold specific claim. We will find every leak in your roof in 30 minutes free, or we pay you $100. Cost of an action. That small stain in your ceiling is costing you $200 a day and you don't even know it. Pattern interrupt or polarizing line. This is one of my favorites. Stop calling roofers. Here's why every quote you've gotten is wrong. Basically the opposite of what everyone else says. And then the problem call out. You worried that your roof's not going to survive the next big storm? Pretty generic, pretty simple. This is one of my favorites right here. And then this one next. Notice how none of these are, we are a family-owned roofing company. This is about the business. Every hook above is about the buyer, their problem, or their desired outcome. Keep it human and specific, and say it the way a real person talks, not the way a corporate brochure reads. Okay, like talk to people in your copy like you're talking to some person, and it's candid, and it's like a typical conversation, not like it's some polished corporate speak. Okay, talk to people like they're like in 4th grade. You want to keep it as simple as you can to understand. To keep things really simple for the body. After you have audience call out, hook, and then body. Once the hook stops them, the body has one job, and that's to keep them watching and move them to act. The cleanest structure for direct response is usually problem, agitate, solve, or PAS. Okay. Name the exact problem they're feeling in their words. They should think, yep, that's me, right? Then we agitate it a little bit. Twist the knife a little bit, honestly, okay? Don't do like fear mongering, or like it's got to be truth and valid. It can't be like making up shit. Show the cost of leaving this unsolved. The money lost, the stress, the thing that gets worse the longer they wait. Most people under agitate, and the pain of the problem is what makes the solution feel worth it. Ideally, when you're doing problem agitation, it helps a lot too if you can use an actual real world example. Way back when, I'm not doing it anymore, but when I did run an ad for a real estate agent, he got $1 million listing under contract within 30 days of launching, and freaking like, I don't know, it was like 70x his investment or something right out the gate, which is really cool. They happen to be really wanted to get their house sold immediately. When we were agitating the problem in his body, he wasn't saying the poor paint job and the cracks in your driveway and the bad landscaping is costing you XYZ. Instead, what he said was, here's the problem you're facing. You're not going to be able to get the most out of your listing. And I'll give you an example. One of our clients, Mikey over here, we worked with them 2 months ago, had this and this and this problem, which is what the problem that they're facing in the ad that's watching it, the person that's watching it. We came in and we fixed the paint. We did this, we did that, and ended up selling their house for 70 grand over initial ask. They put 30,000 into it and they made this much more in return. Now it's not some hypothetical, you know, the paint chipping away is costing you, or your roof shingles that are falling off are costing you a much more expensive roof down the line. It's like, no, here's actually what happened, so they can actually tie to a real person. Here's an example of how this affected my client. We came in, we had to fix it. Don't let it be you. Now it's personified. It's not some hypothetical. Does that make sense? That shit crushes every single time. Agitate, and then we solve. Present your client service as the clear path out, then the offer as the easy first step. Sell the outcome. Fixed roof, full calendar, confidence, not the deliverable. Okay. Every line's job in your copy for your ads, for your descriptions, if you were building out landing pages, every line that you write, the only job that line has is to get the person watching to the next line. What's the job of the CTA? To get them to open up your calendar and to book in a time. What's the next job once the time is booked? The next job once that time is booked. Keep them educated, keep them excited, decrease the time from scheduling the call to the actual consult so they have a higher likelihood of closing. And then once they're there in person, the next job is to not close. The next job is to set frame, then diagnose, build pain, then sell. Every step in this entire sales process, marketing process, the only job of each individual step is just to get them to the next step. That's the only job. Once you can start understanding that, that's also going to help a ton, right? Because a lot of times people will write stuff with intent to close. And it's like, dude, we're skipping the whole middle. We just got to get them to the next one. That's it. Sell them enough to get them to the next step. Then on that next step, we sell them enough to get them to the next one. Does that make sense? Joe Sugarman called this the slippery slide. The only purpose of your hook is to get the second line watched. The only purpose of the second line is the third. If any line is boring, they scroll and the sale is dead. Read your script out loud and cut every line that does not pull the viewer forward. Short sentences, simple words, momentum. Okay. It's like, I've seen ads where guys will talk about trying to think of an example here. We'll come in, script your ads, film, get them up and running. All you have to do is show up and do this. And then like later on, they'll kind of repeat that, but like say it a different way. Just get rid of it. Once you have that, on to the next. Okay. Question so far? Is this clicking? Is this making sense? Is this helpful so far? Drop one in the chat if we're like, this is good, I want to keep going. Drop a 2 if you're like, Doc, fuck, I hate this. But if you drop a 2, I'm gonna ask, and I'm gonna put you on the spot so you can tell me how to make this better. I'll share the doc with you guys. I'll do it right now, actually, so that way you guys can follow along. Okay. Number 6, we have to make them believe. You can't just say stuff. They need to believe that this is actually possible for them. Okay. A cold buyer's default setting is skepticism. Every single time. Every single one of you guys, like before you jumped into here, right? You were all skeptics. None of you saw an ad and were like, oh, he's going to do that for me? Let's go. Like it doesn't happen like that. The same thing with your clients, right? There's research that needs to go into it. There's vetting processes. We got to make sure that we, in the value equation, perceived likelihood of achievement, that's the lever that we're talking about right now. Every claim that you make, the silently answer with, yeah, right. You beat that with 2 things, proof and specificity. If you don't have proof right now, you got to use specificity. Specificity is believability. We help businesses grow is a claim that nobody's going to believe. We booked this roof for 43 jobs in 60 days at $41 CPL. Is a specific fact that sounds true because it's too detailed to be made up. The more specific the number, the more believable the claim. Round, vague numbers feel invented. Exact numbers feel real. Okay, remember that too. That's why testimonials work so well. People are like, homie spent $2,321 and made $75,643, right? Like that's much more believable when people are actually watching that. Because believe it or not, even when you're doing testimonial ads for yourself, for your clients, which you should definitely do if you're not, even then, people just want to say like weird shit like, oh, he's just an actor or whatever. But when you use specific numbers, it helps a lot, okay? Then we stack proof, a real testimonial, a before and after, a screenshot, case study, photo of the actual work, and use reason why copy, meaning you tell them why the offer is this good. That's the other thing. You can't just say, here's what we're going to do. Here's the results we get. That's why it's great. You have to explain why it works so well. That's the explanation of the mechanism. Okay. Because when people see how it works, that's when the belief starts to really go up. Right. So I'll use me for an example, right? Because it's the easiest low-hanging fruit for me to explain. We have an ad, grabs attention. It's like, oh shit, homie got this result for this person. I want that same thing. And then I go, click the link and we'll break down in a training exactly how this works. They then go watch the training, and that's where we actually show Miro flow charts, every single step of the process. It starts to click. It makes sense. Like I see how that works there. And then they start building a belief even more. Okay. Reason why copy, meaning you tell them why the offer is this good. We're booked out and only taking 5 new jobs this month, so we're running this to fill the schedule. People believe a claim far more when you give them a logical reason behind it. Not just, we're only taking on 2 more clients this month, but instead saying, I'm only taking on 2 more clients this month because I only want to make sure that we are delivering the best possible results for our clients. And right now, my capacity only allots for 2 more. If I start bringing on more, then they start getting lesser results. That's a logical reason. I'm not just saying, I'm only taking on 2 more this month, so act now. Does that make sense? There's do this on like every section here. You guys have the document now. You can go back and work through these on your own, okay? Do not just take this training, feel like you're learning a lot, and then leave and go back to doing what you're doing before. Like take some intentional time, 15, 30 minutes, sit down, go through this again yourself, and actually like work through this stuff on your own, because that's where the skill gets developed. It's by actually working through it. And then the clicks start happening. Okay. It's not like you don't watch the sales call training script one time, bring it up on your first sales call. You know what's going on. You watch it, understand, watch it again until it makes sense. And then you go through it line by line until it makes sense for you and things start clicking. You go, oh, okay, that makes sense. Then it's ingrained. Okay. Next, let's talk about reversing the risk. The buyer's last silent objection is, what if this is a waste of my time or money? Very valid, right? Super valid reason or concern. You crush it by taking the risk off their shoulders and putting it on your clients. A strong risk reversal is often the single thing that flips a maybe into a yes. On the ad, the risk reversal is usually about the first step. Free inspection, no obligation, no pressure. On your client's offer overall, it can go further, like a guarantee tied to a result. There's the same principle behind your own 7-day lead guarantee. If everything else in the ad is equal and your client offers a real guarantee, while the competitor does not, the buyer picks your client. Make the first step feel completely safe and more people take it. I'll give another real world example. Jack, I don't think he's in this call. He's probably busy working, but Jack was crushing it with a roofing offer. Okay. And one of their biggest UVPs, unique value propositions, was most roofing companies. Ben, how long would it take when you were working with that company to go on site to delivering a formal estimate?
It's not very long. I mean, we can definitely do it the same day, but some people take a long time to do it.
Yeah, they do. They were doing it on site.
Yeah, like on site, you can definitely do it on site.
Cool.
If you
It's
have
becoming
the-
it's becoming a lot easier now too with AI and different SaaS companies and products that are coming out for roofing. It wasn't so much before, but they jumped onto that before that really was a big thing. And they said, hey, we're not going to come out, waste a bunch of your time, leave, and then we're going to have to wait and send your proposal. Like we come in, we show you exactly what's working, what's not, what you actually need, and give you a proposal and a quote on the spot.
Yeah,
Right?
I've heard
Faster.
homeowners complain about that.
There you go, right? It's a concern and a complaint people usually have. So then what are our competitors not willing to do for our clients? That thing, and their people are frustrated. Let's go ahead and do that thing, right? Figure out a way that we can make it happen. So risk reversal, real scarcity and urgency. Okay. Keyword real. People act when there is a reason to act right now. Without urgency, and even an interested buyer says, yeah, later, and then later never comes. Happens all the time. If there's no urgency, people should be like, cool, yeah, maybe I'll save it or I'll come back to it later. And then guess what? They never come back to it later. But it has to be real, guys. Because like if you just make up false scarcity, like it's going to destroy trust. It's not good. Okay. Fake countdown timers and phony only 2 spots left gimmicks train buyers to distrust you and can get accounts flagged too. Right. Honest urgency for local service ads. Genuine seasonal timing. Get this handled before storm season. True limited capacity. We only take on 5 new roofs a month so we can guarantee quality, or a real deadline on the offer like free inspections this week only. If it's true, use it. If it's not, don't fake it. The cost of an action you agitated earlier is also a form of urgency. The problem gets worse and more expensive the longer you wait. Make sense? Okay. One clear call to action. The ad must end by telling the viewer exactly what to do next in plain, simple language, and it must ask for one thing only. A confused mind doesn't buy. Do not ask them to call and visit the website and follow a page. Pick the next single step and drive everyone to that step. Click the link below, answer 2 quick questions, and then schedule an appointment with us. Or answer 2 quick questions and then call us immediately. If we don't hear a call or get a call from you, we'll be calling you in the next 3 minutes. Very specific. Here's the exact next step that it's going to take. Don't ever leave it open-ended. By the way, pause. We also do this in our sales calls at the end. It's part of the reason you guys don't close is because we just don't make the next step super clear. You're like, cool, man, here's how much it is. What do you want to do? Then they're going to go, okay, cool. Well, since I don't know what to do because you didn't communicate with me what the next steps are going to look like, I'm going to make up the next steps and say, send me a proposal, and then I'm going to ghost you. That's why we go, cool, man. So you're confident this is going to work. 100% we're bought in. You want to talk about next steps? Cool. Here's what they look like. We'll process the investment here on the call, get that taken care of. Only takes a couple minutes, be super quick. Then I'll get you onboarded. That's going to take 30 minutes. You're going to get 2 emails. One, you're going to go through this, this, and this, fill out the avatar form. You have 30 minutes after this call to get that taken care of. Yes, make sure you do that. Okay. Next, you're going to sign a couple agreements, super quick and painless. Then we're going to do this, this, and I'll get you onboarded. And then our kickoff call will be tomorrow, and I'll schedule that call with you before we effectively leave this call. Does that all make sense? Does that all sound good? Awesome. It's going to be 10 grand. Now they know the next step is process it right now. And if they don't want to, they have to give you a reason why not. They're not just going to say, cool, send me a proposal. And then you got to be all awkward. Be like, oh, well, usually we don't do that. I want to do it because you didn't outline the clear next steps. Okay, you always have to do that at every single part of the funnel. What is the next step from here they have to take? Don't let that come up with it. Remember what the ad's actually selling, not the roof, the click. The only job of the ad is to get to the next step, the form filled or the booked call. So make that step feel small and easy. Okay, tap below, answer 3 quick questions, get your pre-inspection. It's a low effort yes. Book a consultation sounds like work. Sell the click by making it the easiest, lowest risk thing in the world. Right? If you can say, click the link, take 12 seconds, that's also a specific number, take 12 seconds, answer 2 quick questions, and we'll let you know how we can take it from here to here. Current state, desired state. Super easy, very low barrier to entry, super low ask. The lower the ask, better the outcome. Make sense? Tracking so far? Good. All right. All right. Now we assemble the ad. We went over some of the pieces. Okay. Audience call out plus the hook. First 3 seconds, stop the scroll. Problem named in their words. They think that's me. Agitate the cost of leaving it unsolved. The solution in the Godfather offer. Here's what we will do for you. Proof and specificity. I would say proof and or if you don't have proof yet. Here's another caveat. I want to make sure I really emphasize this, especially for you guys. The second you get proof, you are going on site with your clients and you're getting a testimonial video and you're going to start including it. The second you get the first client that closes their first deal and can say that they had a 6x plus return on their investment is the second you line up a testimonial video. Testimonial ads crush. They rip. This client came in, they spent a total of $4,000, $4,321 between us and their ads. We generated X amount of leads. They got 4 booked in and they closed this many deals, resulting in Y contract revenue, cash collected, whatever. That's going to perform. One of the guys in here, I'm not going to say his name, I think we all know who he is, generated $134,000 last month. Pretty much solely from testimonial ads. For himself and for his clients. And by the way, they're nothing complex. If you're doing a testimonial with your client for yourself, all the hook needs to be is not I'm so-and-so CEO of this company, none of that. You just say, yeah, man, you came in and we spent this much money on you. We got this much in return within this time frame. X investment, Y outcome, Z time frame. That's the hook every time. Then you go into the body of, cool, what made you go with us? What were your concerns initially? What were the expectations? What actually happened? What would you say to somebody else that's considering working with us? Very simple CTA. That's like the framework for a good testimonial ad. Zach?
Do you typically give the client a script at all, or do you just ask that framework in line and then kind of let them riff it to make it feel natural?
Yeah, good question. I riff. So guide them. When you're doing testimonial, you're with them, so you can guide really easily just by asking the questions. And that's the script, if you will, is you asking the questions, then they respond. Right? You don't want it to be scripted though. It needs to be organic and natural for testimonial stuff.
Awesome.
Okay.
And how do
For
you
the hook-
feel about like a Zoom testimonial or like the way that you do testimonials for service-based businesses? Not the most ideal.
Yeah.
It's better to be in person, or
Yeah, You can do that for sure, as long as people see another human being and they're talking. Like that's what matters the most. I do think in person has better results, generally speaking. It's probably nominal though, if it does. But if you're on site the next time you're shooting with them, whatever, like I do think it's worth the time to set aside time out to go do that,
Okay.
especially in the beginning. I do think it is, but you still can get away with like Zoom testimonials and they'll still work.
Awesome.
Okay. Risk reversal, honest urgency, one clear CTA. Script your main ad with that full structure, but don't stop there. I want you guys also to test a very short direct response version. This is usually what I think is a pretty good approach. You don't have to do 10 hooks if you don't want to in the very beginning. Do like at least 3, 4, I would say, at least if you're going to do a whole body, at least 3 of these to test. All right. If you film all of these, you can do this as an ad with 3 hooks. Then you can do this, 1, 4, and 8. I think it's really helpful to have a longer form ad to run to speak to the people that are maybe a little bit earlier in the buyer awareness journey, answer all their questions up front for the few that are going to watch all the way through. I'm sorry. Yes, that are going to watch all the way through. But then I also think it's really, really good to test a very short and condensed 15 to 20 second ad. That's just 1, 4, and 8. Audience call out, hook, offer, and CTA. Is those crush too? I've seen them both perform really, really well. So you're hitting both segments of your audience. The ones that want to do the research, they're skeptical, they want to see everything, right? And the ones that are like, dude, I need it, I need to buy this thing. Fucking, there we go. These guys look good. Submit, right? Does that make sense? So I think a great starting point for clients, if you're going to do like initial ads for them, all you got to do is film this once. Just go out and film all this. And then that's enough, the modular framework, right? That's enough to have this entire ad with 3 hook variations, just this. And then 3 hook variations, the solution or the offer, and then 1 clear CTA. I think you'll cover your bases pretty well with that. Z, you got a question?
Sir, so you mentioned 1 clear CTA. Is it okay to mention, hey, fill out this form and book a call with us, or should it
Yep.
just be one or the other?
Yeah, both, right? So
Okay.
if this sounds remotely interesting, click the link below, answer a couple quick questions that'll take 12 seconds, and then you'll schedule your call directly with me to see if I can help. Now, if it's an on-site estimate and your client really wants to schedule that themselves or whatever, if you can have them, give them the option to do it, so that way you get 20% to book in themselves and then the rest you call, that's ideal. If not, and it's different, then you can just, it's like if they're going to call them, for example, and they want the lead to come in, but then they want their sales reps on it to be able to call right away, then you can just say, click link below, answer a couple questions, take 12 seconds, answer a couple questions, and then we'll give you a call within 120 seconds. Like if you can do that intentionally, be very specific, people are going to know exactly what's going to happen. And then once you do it, right out the gate, people are going to be very impressed. I mean, for those of you guys that have leads that come in and you call them immediately, how many times do you call leads right away and their response is, holy crap, that's awesome. You're so quick with it. Like I just filled this out and you just called me. I hear that a lot. Like when you call leads, fantastic first impression because you are on it. And on that note, I want to crush a limiting belief maybe some people might have, especially if you're a little bit earlier on. Guys, you're not being needy by calling them right away or double dialing or following up daily. They're the ones that reached out to you initially. They're the ones that have the problem that said, I need you to help me with this. It's not a cold call. Like they already have the problem. They saw your solution and they were the one that reached out. Sometimes people just get busy. And when you call them immediately, they're going to have a lot more confidence and their perceived likelihood of achieving their outcome is going to be higher right off the gate because you're calling them right away, which tells them you're on it and you run a pretty dialed operation. I love this question. I call them, bro. If you're up and they're up and they fill it out, I call them. What's the worst that's going to happen? They're going to say, oh, yeah, dude, I was just scrolling, but I'm at dinner with the family. No worries, bro. What time are you free tomorrow? 9 a.m.? Give you a call then. Cool. Enjoy your time with the family. Worst that's going to happen is they can't do it. They're busy. But guess what? You're going to have a good first impression because they're up and they're the ones that fill out the form. So call them right away. Plenty of times the guys call people late at night and they're impressed. They're like, let's freaking go. 1 a.m. Logan's just going to keep going. 3 a.m., 4 a.m. Dude, if you're up and a lead form comes through, like I'd call them. The worst case scenario, they don't answer. Or they tell you it's late and you be like, cool, I'll call you tomorrow. I just saw you're up and you wanted this right now. And we love solving problems really fast. I know you want to get this solved quickly, but no worries. We'll give you a call tomorrow, man. Nobody's going to get mad at you. It's like somebody going up to I think of a good analogy here. It's like somebody, it's like somebody going into a restaurant because they want to get seated. It's like super late. They're like, hey, we want to eat. And then the person at the front's like, oh, no, not right now. We'll do it tomorrow. You're like, dude, but I want it right now. So I'm here. They filled out the form because they want it right now. Like, that's the mentality you guys need to carry because that's exactly what's happening. Script your main ad, full structure. Yeah, again, we did that. Don't do a super long agitation. No story, no stacked proof. Just here's who you are. Here's the thing. Here's the offer. Here's what to do. Short direct ads often beat the longer ones because a lot of buyers do not need the full pitch. They just need the offer put in front of them fast. Run the long version and the short version against each other and let the numbers pick the winner. Never assume that more copy is better copy. Sound like a human, not a robot, please. For the love of God. Sound like a human being, like an informal person that's just talking to somebody else. That's how these scripts need to look, how they need to sound. The fastest way to kill a good ad is to make it sound like a corporate brochure or like AI wrote it. Write the way that people actually talk. Short sentences, contractions, little personality and humor. Humor goes a long way, by the way. Not too much. A little bit here and there, timed correctly. Comedic timing is like our superpower, I feel like. We do like our ads crush whenever we have little blips here and there. It adds more personality. And it also increases and adds to the trust bank. Read every script out loud. If you would never say it to a friend at a bar, rewrite it. Run it through the corner store test. If the cashier at your gas station would not understand it instantly, then it's not clear enough. If it needs a second read, cut it down. Okay. And also do not marry your first draft. The market decides what works, not your opinion. Your ad is only good if the market tells you and dictates that it's good. Write it, launch it, read the numbers, and let the data tell you which hook and which angle wins. Then write more of what works. Simple as that. Especially if you guys are launching ads for the first time, do not, I repeat, do not be a perfectionist and spend 3 days trying to come up with a perfect ad. I don't care. Write something, go like, yeah, cool. Freaking run it. Get it up and going. There's been so many times where I've launched ads and I was like, this thing's not going to work at all. It's going to be horrible. And it dominates. It crushes everything else. Okay, almost done. Here's the process. You now have the principles. Here's the exact repeatable process to go from blank page to scripted, ready to film ads every time using 3 tools you already have. The client avatar form, Claude, or Poppy. I like Poppy. I use Poppy for all my script writing stuff. You can still use Claude though. And the modular ad template. This is how you turn everything above into finished scripts in an afternoon. Okay. I would also take this document and upload this document as a source. So take this, the modular ad template, your client avatar form, upload it into a Claude chat. Should be all the data that it really needs. Great copy is not written. It is assembled from answers. Get the answers first. The writing becomes almost mechanical. Get these questions answered. Ideally, they should be answered if your client fills out the avatar form about the offer and the buyer or the avatar. If your client hasn't filled it out, I would just say get them to fill it out. If they don't, here's how you find the answers. Okay. I don't want to spend a ton of time going through this and extrapolating and explaining because this is kind of a step-by-step how you guys can take it. Some prompts you can use to actually get your scripts written. Okay. Using everything that we talked about here. You can even take this Fathom call transcript and upload it. The more data you can feed Claude, you can feed AI, the better the outputs are going to be. Okay. Skilled winner. Once you have a validated ad, you don't write every future ad from scratch. You break it into interchangeable modular pieces and mix and match them to generate hundreds of fresh variations off the winning angle without refilming them. That system, including the combination math and the modular editing workflow that cuts your editor's time by around 90% is the modular ads training, okay? You can have Claude help you spin variations of the winning pieces. Here's the training. It's also in school, okay? Most of you guys have already seen it. Test, read the numbers, and double down. Film your best 3 hooks over the same body. Launch them 1-1-1. One campaign, one ad set, one ad at $20 to $50 a day each, and let the market vote. Don't fall in love with your favorite. Read the numbers, keep the winner, and then use the modular template and Claude to spin more variations off of the winning angle. Research once, script the template, test, multiply what works. That's really it. All right. You guys all have the documents in the chat here. Sorry, I went over a little bit. It was pretty decent, only 8 minutes over. Okay, what are some of the takeaways here or questions if anyone has any other questions to clarify?
I'll go first. I took a lot of notes. First thing I got from this, and I think it's something important to me. I'm new, so I mean, you said right to the person, not a subcategory, and I've done that a lot in my career. So I think it just makes it more humanized versus like I'm speaking to a broad audience, but like actually identify an avatar. So that's very helpful for me.
Reggie?
Hey, so I just had a question more around when you said launch 111, because I just did one where I launched one campaign, one or two ad sets, 3 ads each, and then distribute spend kind of unevenly. You're saying just one campaign, one ad set. You could duplicate the settings, but just keep it in its own little sandbox so that you can turn on and off.
The primary reason, and it's not an end all be all, right? Like I have ad sets with many different ad creatives in there. There's no like this is the rule, the hard line you have to follow, but generally speaking, the reason for that is a lot of times if I'm running ads and I've got like 6 creatives in an ad set and I'm like only one is getting spend, which happens all the time, and the rest get like $2.
Yeah.
And I'm really confident because like I've run a lot of ads, so I can have confidence of like I just know this ad's gonna do really well. I just need it to spend more. Because I've literally heard from all qualified media buyers that manage a lot of spend. I've heard 2 different things. I've heard people say, "Don't touch it. Meta knows better than you. If it's not spending, it's for a reason." And then I've had other guys go, "Yeah, dude, like Meta sometimes knows what it's talking about, but then when I force spend, I see that this ad did crush, and I just needed to force it." So usually, if I have 5 ad creatives, only one's getting spend, the rest just simply aren't. Not getting enough to get an accurate test. I'll take those creatives, put them in their own ad set. So I'll have 5 ad sets, 1 creative per ad set, and then do ABO so I can force spends at the ad set level. And then I will take the data from there. And if I see, okay, these 2 ads are crushing, I'm just going to let them go. I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to let them keep ripping. And then I'll be able to see, okay, of the 6 creatives that I've launched, the 3 different angles, these 2 angles crush. This one sucks. Cool. I'm not going to hit that angle anymore. And I'm just going to go make more of these 2 angles.
And even at ABO, you can just turn off the individual ad sets once you determine, and that the training or the learning phase gets still applied.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yep. Logan.
So my first client, the painting company, I was just like moving really fast trying to get a client, and I got one. So I like didn't really study the offer as much as I wanted to. So I just like copied what someone else was doing in my area, and I got lucky and it killed. But what was weird about it was when I first launched it in its own campaign, it was just a single ad in a campaign. It did horrible. It wasn't until I made like 4 different shorter versions and put all the like re-edited shorter versions in the ad set that it started killing. And now I'm kind of at the point where it's like, okay, should I just go and try to study the one that did the best, and try to understand like why it's performing so well, and then make variations around that?
Yep. Yeah, that's what you do every single time. So probably what happened is you launched one creative and it wasn't performing that well. Then you launched more, and then Meta's like, "Oh, cool, he gave me some more stuff. Let me see how these are doing." And then it noticed 1 or 2 of them, like, "Oh, hold on, okay, there's something here. Let me get more spend." And that's what happened. I actually like to personify Meta sometimes. It helps me understand it. But that's probably what happened, right? Logan.
Oh yeah, no, I think that is what happened. But yeah, so I just need to understand the offer that's kind of in that, because we're ready to increase ad spend budget for that one too. So I was just like, I wanted to make sure I understood what I was doing.
Yeah, 100%. Okay. I will say though, in the beginning, the fact that you just got ads up is what you should have done. You did the right thing. Like in the beginning, move quick with urgency, and then like learn as you go. And then, because like getting ads up fast is like one of the most important things, right? Just get something up because it's going to generate some leads. And then you can start throwing more out there and start testing, and then you can start seeing what's working, what's not. And so now you have like what, 1 ad that's crushing, or is it 2? How many are like doing well?
I think there's like 2 or 3 in the ad set that are like performing really well.
Okay. And also, guys, remember, good performance is not just how low is the CPL. Okay. I'll continue harping on this. What else matters? What's the other thing that matters?
CPM.
Not really. I don't really.
Click through rate.
No. It's not within the top of funnel meta metrics. It's a different one.
CAC.
CAC is the end all be all, 100%. That's the thing that matters the most. Secondary to that when you're looking at top of top of funnel metrics, because that's a bottom of funnel metric. Top of funnel metrics that matter the most, I would say, is CPL and then qualified lead rate. Because if I'm at a $20 CPL for a good high ticket, 4,000 plus ticket price, for example, and a $20 CPL, but 9 or 8 out of 10 of the leads are shit, they're fake, or they're not good quality, or whatever, it's not a good ad. CPL is really cheap, but we're not getting the right people. I would much rather have a $100 CPL, but have 6 to 8 of those 10 be qualified. You got to look at all of those metrics together. And also, just because somebody doesn't answer the phone the first couple dials doesn't mean it's a fake lead. Okay, so get on your freaking clients for that. You got to call multiple times. People are busy. You might not answer the first time. Okay, speed to lead will help fix that, but you got to make sure you're qualifying appropriately. Okay, you call 6 times over the course of 4 days, and they finally answer. And they go, I'm sorry, I've been so busy. 100%. This is what I need. Here's the problem that I'm facing. Boom, now it's qualified lead. Okay, you can't put a determining factor on whether someone's qualified or not until you talk to them. That KPI, qualified lead rate. Yeah. You gotta get clear on what a qualified lead is too. You gotta make sure that's a tangible, quantifiable metric. Not just if you think they're qualified or not. Like that's not, it's subjective. You can't scale off that. Tanner.
Hey man, yeah, this has been great. First of all, thank you. But yeah, so launching ads for one of my first clients today, I kind of did 2 different offers. They have a high ticket offer and a low ticket offer. It's like an auto detailing company. So I have 6 ad or hook variations for the low ticket, just detailing that they do. And then I did 3 hook variations for their ceramic coating, the high ticket. So should I do 1 campaign, 2 ad sets, 1 for the high ticket, 1 for the low ticket?
Yes. So the
Okay.
campaign is the objective, whether that's lead forms, traffic to a landing page, engagement. That's the objective of what we want all these people, what action we want them to take. That's what the campaign dictates.
Mm.
The ad set dictates who we are getting in front of, the buyers. Okay. So because they're 2 different offers, we're getting in front of 2 different buyers, meaning that's when you separate them into the ad set level, right? So you have
Right.
1 ad set for the low ticket, 1 ad set for the high ticket. By the way,
Perfect.
great structure, by the way, like understanding their high ticket ceramic coatings and then pushing for those, but at the same time, figuring out how to sell more of the, like the low ticket, like just general details, like fantastic.
Yeah.
I would also in all of your creatives, like try to get as many like supercars and high-end cars as you can in there. Don't show like the Honda Civics because you're going to attract those people and they're going to give you price objections. You want to like showcase like the high, like the elegance, because then you're going to attract more of those people and it's going to make it much easier for them to close.
Yeah, we filmed in front of like a 2025 BMW. So we got that. And so, okay, just so I'm clear. So with the 3 hook variations that I have for the ad set for the high ticket, do I test all 3 of those against each other at the very beginning? Since it's its own ad set?
For the high ticket in its own
Yeah.
asset? 3, yeah. Yep.
Okay, and then since I have 6 hook variations for the other ad set for the low ticket detailing, should I just pick 3 of those as well to start, or do I test all 6?
All of them, bro. If you got like test them all, don't put
Okay.
everything up there.
And then
100%.
they were kind of okay with doing $150 a day for the first few days to like really test.
Nice.
So can I do $100 a day for the 6 ad variations for the low ticket, and then $50 a day towards the high ticket?
Yeah, and then what you would do is, I mean, I'll be honest. I ran ads for a detailer. We only did ceramic coating though. I didn't even bother with detailing stuff. We only wanted to get as many high tickets as we could.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, their LTV should be really good too if they do good work. Like you do 1 ceramic coating, guess what? That dude's gonna keep coming to you for his details, right? Like
Yeah.
we get monthly details. Like, and you find the right people, the right buyers, like the ones that have nice cars, they're gonna want those consistently. That's super high LTV.
Sure.
Like it's stupid. So when I look at it, I'm like, okay, well, what's gonna be able to over the course of 6 to 12 months? Which offer, because a lot of your clients, guys, like they have multiple offers. Which offer is going to be able to bring the largest LTV over a course of time? And then I usually just want to focus all of my efforts on that.
Okay, so the only thing is right now they're about to move into a shop in October. They're doing it out of their house right now. So when it's like they can do 1 ceramic coating, but then it's got to cure in the garage for the next 24
Okay.
hours. So then they want to sprinkle in detailing so they can kind of
That's good. And that's good. That's good data and info to have as well. Then that being said, then yeah, 100%. I would do 2 ad sets for the low ticket, $100 a day between both of those, $50 a day for the ceramics.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Thank you, man.
Yeah. That's great, dude. Like you're on the right track. I think it's a good client too. They can do really well. You get good results. The
Awesome.
young
Yeah.
guys,
They're super young, man. They're crushing it. And they're like fucking 18, 19. Sorry, my language, but like they're just like killing it. And yeah, this is going to help them move into a shop in October. And I can't wait for that testimonial. Like,
yeah,
you know, it's going to be
young,
awesome.
young, hungry, like go-getters are the best clients, bro. Like they just
Yeah.
print, dude. Because like, and the ones specifically that ask questions and that want to like lean on you, the ones that don't feel like they know it all, like young, hungry, and also like lean on your expertise and what you tell them to do. I think 99% of the time will always get great results because they're going to call right away. They're going to take ownership of their sales process. They're going to come to you and ask questions and work on a collaborative front, not pointing fingers like all these fucking other annoying business owners that are stuck in their ways do. Yeah, that's great. Sounds like these guys are going to do really well. It's a good plan.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Concerns, thoughts? Takeaways. I want to hear like of everything went through. What are some things that stood out to you guys? You're gonna go ahead and take and implement. This is for your time.
I have a simple just like ad setup question that I put in the chat. Basically, like for each location that you're targeting, they should all be in different ad sets, right? Like
Correct,
I
yeah.
put in the chat like Dallas, Austin, Houston, like those should all be, or they have to be, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And then okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Different
you.
subgroups of people because if you use one ad set and you have 3 locations, it's going to throw those creatives to all of those locations, right? But if you have specific callouts like Austin and then Houston and then like Dallas, if you have those specific callouts and you only for that ad need to speak to those specific people, it needs to be in its own respective ad set with that targeting within that city. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay. Cool.
Thanks, man. This was fire.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. Good call. Went over a little bit. Hope this is helpful. If you have any other questions, let me know. I'll see you guys in the next call. Peace out.